Hello, Internet, and welcome. My name's NGParadox, and welcome to the Q&A, the answers. Now, obviously, this is a video in celebration of our 10,000 subscribers again. Thank you guys so much. As usual, I can't express how much it means to me, how much the channel has grown, the support you guys give. You guys literally make my day every day. I get home from work, look at the comments, and it just makes my day. I'm really happy with everything, and you guys make that what it is. So I can't really thank you guys enough, and you'll hear that a lot in all my videos. I say it whenever I do an update thing, so I'm sure you guys are tired of that by now. I probably sound really dumb now about that, but yeah, I have to always stress that. But yeah, I'll be answering the questions that you guys asked me in the previous video where I asked for your questions. I got way more questions than I thought I would get, but I'm going to try and go through as many as possible. I kind of took them all in order they were asked, so the first ones are kind of ones that people asked first. If there were any repeat questions, I deleted them. If there were questions I felt uncomfortable answering, or I felt just weren't, good questions that I could answer, I deleted those as well, and we still have a ton of questions. So I don't know, this video might be 2 parts. It might be, or it might just be 1 part. I'll record this and we'll see what happens. In the background, you'll see some Seeker 2 Game of Thrones, just to give you guys something to look at while you listen to my sultry voice. I don't even know how to describe my voice. I'm never sure if I have a good voice or not. I always think my voice sounds kind of monotone, but Maybe that's a good thing sometimes. But enough about my voice, enough about me. Let's dive right into the questions. Some of these answers will be long, some of them will be short. It just depends on the question, depends how much I can say about it. But yeah, I'm going to be as forward and direct as I can. I'm just kind of an open person. I don't really mind this. I think it's good for people. When people watch a lot of your videos, I know that the amount of views we have, we're about to hit 4 million views. A lot of people watch my videos. That means a lot of people have heard my voice, but they don't know who I am. And I think it's always good for people to know who the person is behind the voice and the videos, especially because I don't do face cams and stuff. But yeah. So first question. Why did you move to China? And for how long have you lived there? Okay, so just the first thing. If you guys don't know, because maybe you're new to the channel, you've never really seen my update videos, I actually live in China. Though I am English, just so you guys know, I'm completely English. Well, not completely English, but I was born in England. I was raised in England. I'm English. That's really the end of the matter. But I live in China at the moment. Now, I've lived in China for about 2 years, which I guess is kind of a long time to leave your own country for. It's been pretty crazy. And the first part of your question, why did you move to China? So why did I move to China? I guess that's kind of a big answer, this one, so I'm going to try and condense it as much as possible. Basically, when I left university, I decided on a few things. I wanted a good career, but I also wanted to travel. So I want to try and get a job, get a career going, kind of get things rolling. But there were not many opportunities as well in England at that time. And I really wanted to travel. I never got to travel before. And for me, I feel traveling is a great experience. I get to find out who I am, see things, try new things, open myself up. And it was a great decision. But other reasons I wanted to go to China specifically was I wanted to try and go somewhere as far away as possible. So I decided to go for either China or Japan. Now in the end I decided on China because China itself, obviously at the time and now, is the second biggest economy in the world. Many companies want to work in China. Many Chinese companies want to get and work with people outside China. So I felt like it was a great idea. If I could learn the culture, hopefully try and learn some of the language, this could really help in potential opportunities for work in the future. I would have something that a lot of people maybe would not have. Actual experience of working with people in China and hopefully knowing the language. That was always my aim. So it's kind of a mixture of things to kind of learn more about myself, get to travel, gain work experience, also to kind of give myself some extra opportunities, make myself stand out from the crowd, that sort of thing. And to be honest, it was the best decision I think I've ever made. And I've never looked back since. It's been an absolute roller coaster. I've come really far since then. And I'm really happy with that decision. But yeah, I would not say it's for everyone. If you're thinking about doing something like that, really think about it hard. It was great for me, but it's not for everyone. I've met many people who it just doesn't work out for. It's definitely not for everyone. So definitely think about that. Don't just think that because it worked out for me, it's great. It does not work out for everyone. So yeah, I'll move on from that question. Second question. Which is your favorite A Song of Ice and Fire minor house? Not Lord Paramount's. and your favorite house words. Now, minor house. This is a real difficult one. There's so many minor houses, and there's lots of really fun ones and interesting ones. Some for very different reasons. I don't think I have a Song of Fire and Ice minor house, because I usually prefer characters, people from each house. Now, some houses maybe seem cooler than others for maybe certain characters or certain house words or the history, and that has an effect on it, but I don't think I could pick one, sadly. I guess I kind of like the Estamonts. I'll give you some examples. I like Estamonts because I love the sigil, the turtle, and some of the characters. I always kind of liked the Celtigers because they have the Valerian steel axe, and obviously the history of them very similar to the Valerians and Targaryens and stuff. And I also like the Royces. The Royces have had many interesting characters during the books, so those are all pretty fun houses. But yeah, I couldn't say I have a favorite one. And my favorite house words. Now, again, this is really difficult. Personally, I don't really have one. If I had to pick a favorite, I would probably go with House Arryn. Now, it seems kind of weird. I would go with House Arryn, as high as honor. Now, it doesn't sound as epic as some of the other ones, but I don't know. I just feel like that's a bold statement. As high as honor, that's a bold statement. And honor is a tough thing to kind of talk about, because it's very difficult to be honorable. And I think those are bold words. So I've always kind of felt those are words to respect, and anyone that can follow those words, that they take my full credit. If I wanted someone as my friend, I'd want someone who'd say that sort of thing. So I don't know why that one always speaks to me quite a lot. I guess I value honor quite a lot from other people. So yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to read that one actually. Yeah. Will you ever try the Lord of the Rings mod? Okay. Now, I have actually played the Lord of the Rings mod. I did download it to think about doing a Let's Play. And this is obviously the mod for CK2, I'm guessing. Now, I probably won't, because CK2 is a very old game now, and I've kind of moved on more from it. Obviously, the Game of Thrones mod, I really love. I'm going to keep to that. But Lord of the Rings mod, when I played it, I felt like they didn't update it for a long time. I feel like lots of things are missing. There's some really cool aspects of it. I have to admit, the Lord of the Rings mod has some really cool aspects. There's some real cool parts of it which, if built upon, it could be amazing. They did a good job with the base thing, but there's just so much missing that I just can't enjoy it. And that's just my reason. I just can't enjoy it myself, and so I don't feel like putting it up. I don't think it can make a good story. Personally, from my experience. I don't know if you guys have different ones, but that's why. Next question then. Do you watch Game of Thrones theorists and reviewers on YouTube? I do not. I don't watch any Game of Thrones theorists or reviewers on YouTube. I like to just keep my thoughts to myself. I've been to some forums, the Song of Ice and Fire forums, and there's some interesting things there, but I tend to just wait for the books and stuff, make my own ideas. I like to talk to people one-to-one. I don't like to hear someone make their point, and I can't talk back a lot of the time, because sometimes you see something that maybe is a bit wrong or a little bit off, or is way too kind of processed. It's like they take the straw man kind of argument kind of thing. I don't like that aspect of a conversation, so I don't really enjoy those types of videos. I know a lot of people do, though. I obviously know there are some kind of famous ones. I know a lot of people talk about Preston Jacobs when it comes to Game of Thrones theorists, but I've never really watched many of their videos, so yeah, not really my thing. What's your real life job? Okay, so at the moment, obviously, because I moved to China, my job is that I am I teach English, but I also train teachers. So I'm kind of like the head foreign teacher. So basically, I teach English to Chinese adults, businessmen usually, or teenagers hoping to go to university in the West. And I also train other teachers to teach English. But yeah, that's really it. Not really interesting, kind of boring, and it does mean that my throat is not in a good state, because I do this in my hobby, YouTube, and then I go to work and we're talking a lot. So yeah, that's not good for my throat. My throat really hurts actually right now. Okay, next one. Hey NG, I would like to ask you about the new season of A Game of Thrones. You haven't talked about it very much, but as a fellow book reader, I was wondering what your views on the new season were. Okay, so obviously, this is obviously spoilers, so if any of you guys have not watched the newest season of Game of Thrones, this will be spoilers. So, I'll keep this as short as possible. I could talk about this question actually for like an hour, but I'm going to keep this answer really short because I know a lot of people have not watched it. So if you've not watched it, please cut away now and come back maybe in like 2 minutes, I guess. Are you gone? Okay, I hope you're gone. If you're not gone, then it's your own fault. So basically, my thoughts so far. Personally, I've been disappointed. Now, I mean, it's not that it's terrible. There were some really cool things that happened, but overall, the actual season as a TV show, I've not been impressed. I feel they're going too fast, which I know is obviously what they wanted. They want us to get to an ending, so they're trying to like throw things at us really quickly, get things done so they can move on with the story. But it's way too fast. A load of things are just thrown to the background. A lot of really important things are kind of like one scene, and it just feels really, I feel really lackluster. Every time something big happens, I'm kind of like, ah, okay, that just happened. While in the past, when something bad happened, you were like, oh my god. and so I feel like this season actually has been one of the, not the worst. Last season was pretty bad, but it's definitely not one of the highlights of the series so far. Yeah, this season's disappointed me. Some ways they've taken things have, I think, been absolutely atrocious. Dawn, I mean, all I have to do is say Dawn, and it will just blow your mind. I have to get this off my chest. Dawn just drives me crazy. Obviously, they only had it like in one episode at the beginning of the season, but it just blew my mind. I was like, what are they doing? I mean, let me paint this picture for you, just in case you did not notice. I'm sure you all did notice, but I just want to get this off my chest to make sure I'm not the only one, and I'm not crazy. So basically, you have a situation where, obviously, the Viper was killed. So the Viper was killed, so his wife, or paramour, and his Sand Snake daughters, his bastard daughters, want revenge, of course. They want revenge against the Lannisters. Now, obviously, the Martells wanted that anyway. The Viper was there to get, to kill the Mountain and get revenge, because the Lannisters and the Mountain, not the Lannisters, but the Mountain under his orders, as he was trying to find out, he wanted him to say that the Lannisters told him to. He wanted to kill them because they killed his sister and his niece and nephew. That was how this whole thing came about. He was getting revenge for his family, his niece and nephew, his sister, the ones he loved, and he dies. So, his paramour and his daughters, they decide to get revenge. Now, they want to kill the Lannister's daughter. Great, that okay, I can see that happening. That I guess is plausible. The way they did it maybe is a bit odd, but I can see the wanting to be plausible. After that, obviously, though, you have a problem. Apparently, Doran Martell in this situation is basically the naive appeaser, the version of Doran Martell which Arianne in the books thought he was. He didn't want to get involved. He was just trying to keep to himself. He's been an idiot, and he seems to be that in the TV show. So they don't like this. So what they do is they go, okay, we'll kill her, and to get revenge, we'll also kill our father and our husband, our paramour's brother and nephew. So it just drives me crazy. We're going to do to ourselves what our husband and father did to the Lannisters. It drives me crazy. The Lannisters killed his sister and his nephew and niece, so they kill his brother and his nephew. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I know they have to protect themselves because they killed Marcel, but it doesn't make any sense. It's not plausible. And when the Sand Snakes kill Tristan, they're laughing, they're smiling and joking. They just killed their cousin. What is going on here? This was meant to be a house which is like all about family, and they don't bend. They get revenge. I didn't understand. They totally ruined Dawn. The whole storyline is terrible. The characters make no sense. Their reasoning makes absolutely no. They're dumb. I mean, Ariel Hota just got stabbed in the back and dies. That's it. Nothing. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind characters dying like in silly ways because that's realistic, I guess. Some people, great warriors don't always die on the battlefield. I'm fine with that. J.R.R. Martin writes like that. This answer's been a lot longer than I thought it would be. I really had to get this off my chest. So yeah, that was one of the biggest problems I've had. I didn't even get it out properly. I'm not even sure. Maybe I was just talking non-coherently during this whole thing. I do apologize. But I hope you guys got out what I meant about that part of the story so far. And the speed has just been terrible. The other couple of things, Bran's flashbacks, absolutely atrocious. I mean, there's like, they never set any rules. They never like tell you the rules. Like, obviously in the books, he's confined to the weirwood, the actual tree, and they kind of hinted it. They showed the weirwood tree, but like he just walks around. He's literally just time traveling. I don't get it. Like, he's literally just time traveling. What is this? Why is it not like in the books? It's all kind of, you know, sort of unclear, and it's all kind of like he's just from the tree, and in this it's just like, it's so just like, oh, I'm just walking around. That's it. I really hated that aspect. They didn't explain the rules, and I don't know. That just really frustrated me as well. The other thing was Ramsay and Roose. Now, I don't mind what happened with Ramsay and Roose, personally. That's fine. But the Ramsay and Roose thing was kind of silly, I think, the way they did it, because basically the whole time Roose has been hinting, hey, you know what? I might have a son. You better be careful. He's basically been just torturing Ramsay this whole time. And he knows that Ramsay is a psycho. He knows this. But he keeps hinting that if he has a son, he's probably going to kill him. Even we can tell that. And so Ramsay is crazy. You would know as Roose that he would try and kill you. So basically they know each other's going to try and kill each other. And instead, when he has a son, he kind of looks at Ramsay and goes, hey, a son. Look at that. And then Ramsay goes, okay, I'm just going to hug you because, you know, that's me. I'm Ramsay, the hugger. And stab. How did Roose not see that coming? I mean, I thought what they should have done is have, as soon as the Maester came in and said he had a son, Roose and Ramsay should have both drawn knives. That would have been what should have, or swords. They both should have drawn knives and swords or something, because they both would have had the same idea. Because I know Roose isn't as crazy as Ramsay, but you know what he was thinking. He was hinting at the whole entire time. That's why Ramsay's so insecure. I mean, unless Roose wanted to be killed. You never know. Maybe he wanted Ramsay to kill him. I have no idea, but that seems ridiculous. Why would you betray the Starks, take over the North, just so you could get your son kill you, who's a bastard, who's crazy? I have no idea. So I was kind of perplexed by that. That was an odd way, I think, of doing it. It didn't seem to the character at all, which I like. Like I say, I like realistic deaths, which can just randomly happen, but that just didn't seem like that's what would have happened, which upset me. Other than that, we'll move on. I can't talk about this season for too long. There's a lot of things that have just upset me. Euron Greyjoy, oh, he's okay. His introduction was fine. I was a bit upset they showed how Balon died. I loved kind of the people kind of like trying to work out how he died, and like, you know, was it someone who killed him? Was it a faceless man? Was it Euron? That was pretty cool. So I was a bit disappointed they showed him, but it was pretty cool anyway. So I can forgive them for that. We'll move on. I'm going to be here for ages. I apologize for this long answer. Next question. If you don't want to answer that, tell me what made you start doing YouTube. Okay, so he asked that first one. Now he's asked this one. Okay. What made me start doing YouTube? Okay. Now, obviously, about 2 years ago is when I started really doing YouTube, and that's kind of when I arrived in China. Now, basically what it is that I like computer games. I love strategy games. As you can tell, obviously, Paradox games, war games, strategy games, this type of thing, roleplay games, any games I can immerse myself in. So if you do that, you have to spend a lot of time playing the games. And the only problem is that when I play games, I feel really unproductive. Like I say, I would say I'm kind of an ambitious guy, which is one reason why I moved to China. I took a big risk coming to China, and it paid off. So I'm kind of an ambitious guy, and being unproductive, I really hate. I just feel like rubbish. Every time I play a game, I'll be like, I feel like I should be really doing. I could be learning Chinese. I could be doing anything. And so I really didn't like that feeling. And so I decided that, you know what? I know other people do it on YouTube. Why don't I just give it a go? I mean, even if nothing happens, at least I feel like I'm making something. And that way then it actually feels productive. I feel like I'm actually working towards something. Even if no one watches them, even if nothing happens with it, even if it's just a complete dead channel. And so that is literally the only reason I started. It was really just because of that. And personally, it's a great... I guess it kind of became a creative output. I love to create things. And so this kind of became a creative output. You know, something that I made and something that I talk about is just on the internet. People enjoy it. People like it. And people get, you know, some happiness from it. That really makes me feel better than anything else in the world, to be honest. Next question. What is your favorite A Song of Ice and Fire book and favorite season of the show? Now, when it comes to the books, I know a lot of people don't like the last two books. I actually really like the last two books. I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I really enjoyed them. I know a lot of people don't like them because they kind of spread out from the main characters we know and love, but that's what I really loved. I loved the new characters. I was very open to them. Quentin is one of my favorite point of view characters, but I know lots of people hate it because they felt it was pointless, but I loved that. But that made it even better for me, the fact it was pointless, because that made it feel like, wow, that's just what happens. Sometimes, that is what happens. So I really like that, but it's probably not my favorite. My favorite is probably a Clash of Kings. I'm trying to really think about this. It's a Clash of Kings or Storm of Swords, which is the general. I still like the last two books, but it's probably a Clash of Kings or Storm of Swords. I love a Clash of Kings because I love the kind of diplomacy, all the kings and stuff all trying to fight it out, and just the whole realm just turned into chaos. And I love particularly I like the Renly storyline and the Stannis storyline. That was really good, I think, in the second book. But the third book is really good just for the big plot points, obviously, that happen in the third book, as well as obviously things like the Jaime points of view in the third book. Those things really make that book. But personally, I like the stuff that happens. But there might be other questions about that in the future, so I'll keep it at that. My favorite season of the show is probably season 1. Actually, yeah. Probably favorite season is season 1 because I feel like a lot of the big moments in the TV show are better in the books. I felt more emotion in the books. I felt they were done better in the books. So I would say it's probably season 1. If anything, it would be either season 1 or season 2. It would have to be one of the two. I felt season 1 was so well done. The whole season felt really well just made and put together. Everything just made sense. There was great pacing, which I feel has been lost in the last few seasons because they feel like they're rushing it. They should have just made more seasons, personally, I think. I think that's what they should have done. They should have just stretched down to more seasons. At first, I thought it was okay, but I do regret them doing that now. But yeah, I'd probably say the first one. I think it was a perfect example of how to do the books. But also they added bits which were great. Some of the bits they added are even better than the books. Some of the conversations between, Littlefinger and Varys, the conversation between Cersei and Robert Baratheon, some of those scenes are some of the best. And so I really loved the first season, and that's what really got me into it. So it opened up, it gave you a point, it changed how you saw it, and made you know what this season, this show's about. So I like the first season the most, probably. Can you speak a bit of Chinese for us? Now, my Chinese is really bad, actually. My Chinese has not come along as well as I hope because I've been so busy with other stuff. But I can say a few things. I'll say this, I guess. Nishihuan Pingoma. Now, I'm not sure if my pronunciation's correct there, but I should have said, do you like apples? Nishihuan Pingoma. But yeah, maybe I should put one with an accent. Nishihuan Pingoma. That would be kind of, just do you like apples? So there you go. I spoke some Chinese for you. But yeah. What kind of music do you listen to? Now, personally, I like a wide variety of different types of music. I think I have quite a good taste. Wide variety, but I personally probably most like rock. I'm a very big fan of rock music. Not heavy metal. Hate heavy metal personally, but alternative rock is fine. Alternative rock can be good as well, but just kind of rock. Like, for example, probably my favorite band is Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now, I know some people don't like them, some people do like them. I really like their style, but personally, I don't really like bands or singers. I like songs more. Yeah, but let me give you some examples of things I've liked recently. Like I say, Red Hot Chili Peppers I really enjoy. Imagine Dragons is another one from recently. There's also Bastille. If you've not listened to Bastille, I think he's from England. He's really good, actually. That was a few years ago, though, he brought that album. I can also listen to things like, Sam Smith. So a wide variety. I also like B.O.B., at least his old stuff, not his newest stuff. So that's a bit of rap in there as well. So I kind of like a very big variety. Ed Sheeran, I saw Ed Sheeran live. That was really good. So yeah, I kind of just like lots of music. But yeah, it's hard to put down that one for me. What is your favorite strategy game? Ooh, that's a really tough one, actually. Now, personally, I like the Paradox games are probably my favorite ones just because you can kind of do anything. EU4 has kind of always fitted that spot. I think it probably would have to be EU4. It might have to be EU4 just because I love the fact you can choose any country in the world. There's so much stuff to do. It feels so rich but also so simple. So many things can happen. It's different every time you play. I really enjoyed that one, actually. Just because of the simplicity and the sort of just what you can do. Just that whole sandbox thing, and the fact it can be the whole entire world. Like, CK2 is great, but obviously you can't play the entire world. In EU4 you can play as, Incas, and you take over the world. You can play as something else, take over the world. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part of it. But it's hard to say. There's a lot of strategy games out there, but I'll go with that one for now. What is your personality type? So this person sent me a link. They sent me a link to where you can take a personality test. So I took the personality test just for you, person who asked this question. And apparently my personality type, I answered completely truthfully. I say I just like to be open. I got the personality type debater, ENTP /-A. So that apparently that's a debater, which I think suits me. I'm a pretty good debater. I think my partner, my fiance, she gets pretty upset because I'm pretty good at debating. So I think she gets annoyed because I win if there's an argument. So she acts like I always win. But yeah, so I think that one suits me quite well. Next question: if you could belong to any canon, a Song of Ice and Fire house, excluding House Docs for obvious reasons, what house would it be? Ooh, if I could be in any house at all. I'm gonna have to go with. I mean, if I was a member, I wouldn't be a Targaryen. Oh no, I don't want to be a Targaryen. I was going to say Targaryens because you kind of have that cool thing of a dragon, but I guess I don't think dragons are for me. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I have a subconscious fear of falling. So actually, a dragon would literally be my worst nightmare. I don't think I could handle that. Probably want to live in the north because the north is pretty cold. I don't really like cold weather. The Riverlands, Lannisters are pretty rich. That'd be pretty nice. Arryn's seems a bit too mountainous. Not so fond of the mountains. In the Reach, I'm not sure. That one's really difficult for me. Any canon of Song of Ice house I could belong to? I'm trying to think if there's any particular that really stand out to me as being like a great house. I guess maybe the Danes. You know what? I might go for the Danes. They're a family that has to live up to a lot. They've had a lot of things going on with them. Maybe the Danes I'd go for. We'll say the Danes for now then. But that's a difficult. You guys ask some really easy questions and really difficult questions. I hate those ones because, I say, I don't particularly like. I'm never that person who likes something too much. Like when it comes to characters in the books, I don't really like any particular character. I tend to like side characters more, actually, like Ed Tollett or Beric Dondarrion. I prefer them overall than the main characters. Next question: what is your favorite sport? This is such a silly question. I'm English. Of course it's football. I absolutely adore football. Football is like a massive thing for me. I'm looking forward to the Euros this year. That is going to be so much fun, hopefully. So yeah, it has to be football. Next question. In your doc series, you have a red lobster surrounded by a blue field on your banner. Why is that? And if you could choose a banner for your family or yourself, how would that look? Now, I think I might have explained in the series why I chose the banner. Really, there's a lot of choices for the banner when you go through and make your own character, and it was just so impossible to go through. Now, I wanted an animal, so I did want an animal as my sigil. So I wanted to choose an animal I like, and when it comes to animals I like turtles or a tortoise, but obviously you have the Estamons. I also like lobsters and, no, maybe not crab, I like lobsters. I also like sharks and crocodiles, maybe a scorpion, those types of things. I like those as my kind of sigil. So I chose the red lobster just because I like the animal, the lobster. I found it. I was like, okay, I can't look anymore, really. It's kind of just like that. And when I chose my place, I chose Case. I was like, well, it's by the sea. That's why it's a blue field. The blue field represents the sea, and the red lobster, I think, represents coming from the sea. And as I said before, the house docs, they kind of started out as like a merchant family who sold lobsters that they caught in Case. And that's how they managed to get rich in Case, and then were given land from the I think it was the Presters. But yeah, so that's kind of why. And if I choose a banner myself, it'll probably be maybe a turtle. If I was choosing a banner, it would probably be some sort of turtle. Because they're kind of old, they can live a long time, they can be wise, they're majestic, they're interesting creatures, but they have a hard shell, and no one can break them. So I'd probably go with the turtle, personally, but the Estamons have that already. So yeah. Who is what is... Okay, that doesn't make any sense, so I written this wrong. What is your favorite food? Again, when it comes to favorites, these are tough questions for me because I don't have a favorite. Favorite foods, I love pizza. You know what? If pizza is one thing I truly just love. But I love a lot of other things. Like I love noodles, udon noodles, like ramen. Oh my god. When I say ramen, I don't mean your stupid packaged, quick heated ramen. I mean like proper, ramen. Oh, so good. Dumplings. Oh my god, dumplings are delicious. And baozi. If you don't know what baozi is kind of like these like buns in China, and they've like meat on the inside. Oh, with some pork. Oh, so good. I like kind of like snacks. Not snacks, sorry, I don't like snacks. I like the side dishes. Like when you go to a restaurant, you have like the side dishes. I love also American pancakes. I love English pancakes, European pancakes, but I also love like buttermilk American pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. I crave that sometimes. Those are delicious. Can't get enough of those. And you can never usually find them that popular in England, I find. So that's another thing. And ribs. Oh my god, barbecue ribs. And roast dinners, roast potatoes. Oh my god, roast potatoes are to die for. Oh, actually, no, I think I know what it is. Actually, I do know what my favorite food is. Paella. If you don't know what paella is, paella, which I think most people do know, it's a type of rice dish which comes from Spain. I think it's normally Spain or at least Iberia. It kind of has a yellow color. I love paella. Oh, it's so good. And also, my father actually makes what we call a great squid stew. So this is squid made into a stew. Oh my god, apparently it's a secret family recipe which my father has not taught me, and it is the best food I've ever eaten. When I was a kid, I thought it looked disgusting, but I tried it and I've grown up with it. It is amazing. We always force our father to cook it on special occasions. It sounds horrible if you haven't tried it, but it is amazing. Favorite book character from A Song of Ice and Fire. Like I said before, though, I don't particularly like the main characters. I'll give you two answers. I'll give you a main character and a side character. I do prefer side characters. Again, favorite is always difficult for me. I don't think I ever have favorites. I'm not a man who chooses favorites most of the time. But I guess the main characters, I actually don't like a lot of the main characters. There's so many things wrong with them. I just can't enjoy them. I know a lot of people like Daenerys. I'm not that fond of Daenerys, as I've said many times. As a person, I'm not that fond of her. And I won't go into that right now. We can go that maybe later. Jon Snow as well, not actually that interested in him. I respect the man, definitely. But he made some dumb mistakes. Which I guess is why your great always said he knows nothing. Which I guess was kind of true. Personally, from the main character, I guess I have to go with Tyrion. Tyrion, I feel like the main characters, the main points of view, is probably the most entertaining character. Probably the one a lot of people relate to, I find, even though he's unlike most people. But a lot of people respect him because he's ugly. People don't like him in the books, obviously, but he's obviously a smart man, and he's always been downtrodden. So I've always kind of liked him, I guess, the most. His scenes as a character I like the most. When it comes to the minor characters, I love the minor characters so much more. Beric Dondarrion, the leader of the Brotherhood Without Banners, I think is a great character. Even though he's hardly in it, just the scenes he's in are such great lore and just such a great random character to have. Ed Tollett is great. He's amazing. He has so many just random quotes which you can just quote forever, and he's so likable, but he's so depressed. It's like it doesn't make any sense. He's so depressed and so down. He shouldn't be likable, but that makes him so likable because of his kind of sarcasm and stuff. Sometimes I'm not even sure if he's actually being. Sometimes I'm not even sure if he's actually being sarcastic or not. But I love that character. Other characters would include Jorah Mormont. I know a lot of people, again, don't actually like Jorah Mormont, but I think his character's really interesting. I think he's a really interesting character. The whole storyline of... I know a lot of people will debate this and disagree with me on this, but I really do think he loves Dany. I know a lot of people who read the book say he doesn't love her. It's because she reminds him of his ex-wife, who he did love. I don't agree with that, because when he first met her, he was planning to betray her. And he knew her for a while, and he was still going to betray her. He only didn't betray her when I think he saw who she really was. The more he talked to her, the more he saw her, the more he respected her. The more he realized, this is a good person, this is a powerful person. She's a great woman. And as time has gone by, I think his love has just grown, and he's realized that she should be queen. And that's what I love about his character. He doesn't care that she's the blood of the dragon. He doesn't care that she's a Targaryen, that the throne was taken away from her. He's not a Targaryen loyalist. He loves her because she deserves it. And I think that's what's really sad about the character, because he's so old. If he was young, who knows what would have happened. Maybe she still wouldn't like him. Maybe he's not the type of man she likes, really. She prefers other types of men. And I think that makes him such a tragic character. And that's what I really enjoy about his character. I feel just he wants her, but he can't have her, but he can't help himself. That's how much he loves her. I know a lot of people have said, obviously, other things like, he goes to the whorehouse and he seems to be with a girl who looks like her, but that's because he's obsessed with her. He can't get her out her mind. Being without her literally is destroying him. So I don't know. That's how I feel about the character. I really enjoy that character. I don't think he should be with Dany because she doesn't love him. So she shouldn't be with him just because he loves her. That's not how love works, That's just not how it works. So I don't think he should be with her in the end. But I think that it's just a great character, and that's what happens sometimes. And I know a lot of people say, obviously, it's weird because she's so young in the books, but obviously, in that time frame, obviously, it's kind of, men that age might marry girls that age, and it's not because of, it's not a thing about her age. She's beautiful, but also he respects her. And that's what I think makes it actually a true love thing. And that's one of the few I think you see in the actual entire series of that. So I really like that character. I just want to defend him on that point because that's why I like it. I say it. But I don't think they should be together. Other characters, I guess Littlefinger, of course, is one of my favorite characters. Possibly is my favorite character, Littlefinger. And Roose Bolton, I really like the Roose Bolton character, not because I respect him or anything. When I say I like a character, it just means more I find them interesting. You gotta remember that, guys. For me, when I read the books, my favorite characters are not people I like, want to be friends with. They're the people I think are interesting. So Littlefinger is one of them, and so is Roose Bolton. I really think those characters are really interesting. We'll move on, though. I think that's enough favorite characters. NG, what was your first real-time strategy game? Okay. Now, for most people, this would probably be Age of Empires. Now, I never had Age of Empires. When I was a kid, we had a PC, and my parents would not let me use it. I was only allowed to use it maybe for half an hour every day. So I really didn't use it for games. I did use it just for my homework and stuff, which is very frustrating until in the future they let me have it. Because they got a second computer. I got the old one. But yeah, because me and my sister, you had to share the computer and stuff. So I didn't really get to play the classic RTSs like Age of Empires. I saw my friends have it and I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. I like that. But I didn't have to play. I never really played on PCs. But yeah, what turned out to be my first RTS is, I'm trying to remember the name. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was exactly the same as Age of Empires, except it was Star Wars. So I'm sure if I say that, some of you will know what it is. I think it was called Star Wars Battlefield, because it's definitely not Star Wars Battlefront. That's the shooting game. I think it was called Star Wars Battlefield, or Star Wars Battlegrounds. I think it was Star Wars Battlegrounds. That game, when I saw that game, I was like, oh my god, that is what I want. Because obviously it combines Age of Empires with Star Wars. I was like, that's a perfect game. And so I remember that was my first RTS, and I adored that game. I destroyed that game. And I think that's got me into strategy games. That was my first strategy game. But it's not the game that got me into strategy games. I guess the game that got me into strategy games was probably Civilization. Civilization 4 probably was the strategy game that really got me hooked to playing strategy games, maybe find deeper strategy games. Yeah, that was probably the one that we got into deeper, grand strategy games. So, yeah. Okay, next. When will the small council streams continue? Yes. So I used to do some live streams where I'd have the small council and the people in the stream would tell me what to do. Now, the reason I've not had those for a while was because I went back to England for Christmas. I was away for a whole month. When I got back, obviously I'd not had one for a month. And since then, I've been trying to do other stuff. So I've been, obviously, on my Sundays, that's when we would do it. That's my kind of only time to have free to be able to do things with people across the other side of the world. When I have to work with other people or talk to other people, I have to do it very late at night because I live in China. And so recently I've been trying to do more multiplayer stuff. So on Sundays instead I've had to cancel the streams for now because we've been doing multiplayer. And what will happen now, because I've got the Discord channel started, it's going to kind of go each week. So 1 week, the first Sunday, I'll do a multiplayer thing. And then the next week, I will do a multiplayer game with the subs on Discord, the streams could come back, but the problem is at the moment, I have no time. My work has taken all my time. Real life has gotten pretty crazy the last 2 months. My real life this last 2 months have been absolutely crazy. I'm absolutely just stressed out of my mind and so tired all the time. And so real life has really got to me, so I really don't have the time right now. I really want to do them again, and as soon as I have time, they will return. Don't worry about that. I really enjoyed that part. That's why I started doing the Discord things. We do some multiplayers, because then I can just set them up when I can play and stuff. That's what that's about. And there has not been any multiplayer on the channel, but we have been recording some. So even though you might not see any multiplayer on the channel, we have been recording it and we're making a stockpile because other people don't want to release it just yet. So that's why that's like that. But yeah, when they come back, they'll come back as soon as possible. Maybe in the future, obviously, like I say, for me, YouTube is obviously just a hobby. It's just something I do for fun. I'm not big enough to make this anything more. Maybe in the future we can go part-time, but that'll probably be long in the distant future. But yeah, then I'd have much more time. Next question. What would be your favorite series you've recorded? Ooh, what would be your favorite series you've recorded? Again, favorites. I apologize. I'm really bad when it comes to the favorite questions because I don't necessarily have favorites. I mean, I really enjoyed, probably my first one I really enjoyed was the Reigns series because that series was just so much fun, so much things happened. It felt like a real story, a real journey. So I enjoyed that one. Other ones I probably enjoyed was the Dothraki one, where we kind of tried to get the Iron Throne for Daenerys as Drogo. That was such a fun one. It didn't end as I wanted, but that's how I like my series. I like the fact that our series, good things and bad things can happen. And that's how things go. The Dragovich, oh my god, the CK2 Dragovich series, that was so much fun. The Inca in EU4, that's also one of my favorite series. Not one of the most popular series on my channel, but probably is one of my favorite ones, just because what we managed to do in the end, you know, that one was definitely an up and down series. And again, that's what I like about it, that journey. Also, the Forrester one was a really nice one. That was a fun one. Bronn was a pretty unexpected one. That's not how I thought the series would go at the beginning. There have been lots of real good times I've had. I could never choose a single one, I guess. It's really difficult for that one. Would you like to do any other games besides CK2 Game of Thrones, like EU4, a Game of Thrones mod? Now, I'm not going to play EU4, a Game of Thrones mod, because I don't think the Game of Thrones really translates into EU4 very well. I think Game of Thrones translates into CK2 perfectly. And I think for EU4, it just doesn't fit. CK2 is about, you know, nations and painting the map and cultures, this type of thing. Game of Thrones is nothing about this, more about the people. So when it comes to other mods, I feel like they don't fit it. CK2, I think, is the best way to play Game of Thrones. It's the one that suits it the most, makes me feel like I'm really playing Game of Thrones. So probably not. What's your favorite games you played besides CK2 and EU4? Now, probably I like games which invest a lot of time. I love games I can immerse myself, as I said before. So when it comes to other games I like, I'm loving at the moment Total War Warhammer. That's been really fun. There's some downsides to it, but I'm really enjoying that one. I love Football Manager. Football Manager is like my bread and butter. CK2, EU4, Football Manager, I'm done. That's all the games I ever need forever. But I also love Fallout and the Elder Scrolls games. You know, Skyrim was epic. So Skyrim, Fallout, those types of games, these role-playing games, The Witcher, Mass Effect. I really enjoy those games because you can immerse yourself. So really most strategy games and those types of games. Other than that, I recently was playing Rocket League, which I loved Rocket League. I only played it a little bit, but I absolutely loved that. So yeah, I love a vast amount of games. And my past, if you guys don't know, I come from console gaming. As I said before, when I was a kid, we weren't really allowed a PC to use, so I had a console. So I kind of grew up with a console, specifically maybe the Xbox 360, I guess, and the GameCube and Nintendo 64. So a lot of the games I enjoyed as a child are those games, you know, Mario games, Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, Banjo-Kazooie. What an epic game. Other things would include, now this might shock people, Gears of War. Now, that will shock maybe some people, You might not expect that. Now, I don't like the single player, and I don't like 2 or 3. Or any after. I haven't really played the others after, but the first one was amazing because the multiplayer. If you did not play Gears of War 1, the multiplayer, it is probably the best multiplayer experience I have ever had in any game. It was 4v4, it was brutal, you had to work as a team. And that meant if you just played a game on your own, you'd have to talk to these random people, and you really get to know other people. It was probably the first multiplayer experience in a game where I actually met loads of other people who I'd never met before. And I made some really good friends in those games that, we now actually, have spoken in real life. So, yeah, the Gears of War was definitely one of the top ones. You probably won't expect that, but that was when I was a kid, and that's when I enjoyed the console games more. But yeah, Football Manager is probably the big one though. What is your opinion on the show Game of Thrones? Okay, so this is talking about not this season, this is about the whole show. Now, personally, I think they should be commended. I was complaining, having a rant for a bit about the current season, but that's just bits I didn't like. There were some bits I do like, obviously, which I didn't really get to talk about. But I think overall you have to commend them a lot. Doing this must have been really difficult. I mean, putting a book into reality is so difficult, even for movies. And this is a TV show of a much smaller budget. I think they've done a great job. I mean, Season 1 is testament to that, the fact that Season 1 flows perfectly. The story is just perfect. To the book, it's like almost the same. You hardly even have to read the first book. You could probably miss out the first book, which I would say still read the first book. There's still minor things and conversations which are added, which are great. But overall, you probably could just miss the first book. That's how good the first season is. And the next seasons, obviously, like I say, they kind of aren't as good as the books. But I still think they're good. They're still enjoyable. If you've not read the books, you can still really enjoy the TV show for what it is. I do think they have made some massive mistakes in some of the things they've changed. So, for example, I said Dawn. Not having Quentin Ariana... Personally, that was just my thing. I know a lot of people probably don't care, so I don't. Maybe that's not a mistake then, I guess. What they've done with the Greyjoys, I think, has been pretty bad as well. The way they used Theon's sister was sometimes just absolutely retarded. The bit when she goes to rescue him when he's turned into Reek, what was the point? I mean, again, I don't mind bits that aren't the point, but you've got a TV show, you've hardly got any time. And, it doesn't fit her character at all. The whole thing, I felt they were just trying to make us like her character so we could support her. Because obviously in the beginning she's kind of a dick, especially to Theon. And so I think they wanted us to go, wait, people aren't going to like her. We want her to obviously be people to support her later on. So we want people to like her. So they kind of just did that for that reason. But overall, I think they've done a great job, I have to say. I will complain about it a lot. And the main things I would say that I've complained about would be things like Sansa. Now, what I mean by Sansa is the whole thing from last season where Sansa is sent to the Boltons. Just ridiculous. No idea. To me, it doesn't make any sense. It is not something Littlefinger would do at all, I don't feel like. It doesn't make any sense. It's an absolute massive risk. I just don't feel it makes any sense. And so I was very disappointed in that choice. They could have done so many things instead, but they wanted you to feel for what Ramsay does to that person. So I guess they felt Sansa was the thing. It's more about making emotion and shock than anything I felt. So I was a bit disappointed in that choice. So little things like that have just really disappointed me about the show, and the fact that a lot of smaller characters just don't get the time of day. And some of the scenes, the epic scenes like the Red Wedding, are just not as epic as in the books. Because in the books, you get to know all kind of the side characters in his army, obviously the Mormonts, the Umbers, the people around him, this type of the Manderleys, and then when everything goes to shit. Because the whole way through the book, you kind of know something's going to come up. In the TV show, you kind of see it a little bit as well, but not as much in the books. And when kind of shit goes down, you kind of think, shit, oh my god, what's going to happen? And in the books, it's just like every time something happens, each of the people around him keep trying to save him. All the warriors try and fight their way out. Some of them die straight away. Some of them manage to get the rob. They throw a table over him. And you're like, oh my god, yes, they're going to get him out of this. But every time your hope keeps getting taken, one by one, your hope is just slowly dwindling. You're like, no, this isn't, they're not going to do this. They're actually going to do this. And so I really love that part. And I felt that was missing from the TV show. So things like that I was disappointed in. But overall, like I say, I've complained a lot, but I think they've done a lot of things great. It's just the things that I'm missing which I'm disappointed in, and some of the changes which are bad. But yeah, I won't talk about too much. Why do you play strategy games? I guess I love strategy games because I love the challenge. I like to be challenged. When I was a child, I used to... I guess my first strategy game was, you could say, probably Pokemon. When I was a child, like 7 years old, Pokemon came out, and I was like, oh my god, Pokemon. And I loved the challenge of it. But the problem was, I tended to be better than most of my friends. We played the computer, we played the Pokemon game, we played the Pokemon trading cards, and I would kick everyone's ass. And I felt no challenge. And so strategy games kind of pushed it to another level, more complexity and stuff. And I love that challenge, to be mentally challenged. So I like strategy games because of that, and the fact I can immerse myself and be that sort of sandbox. Just do what I want. I love the strategy games where there's not really a goal necessarily. It's not a story. It's what you want to do. And that's why I like them, personally. Next question. Red Dragon or Black Dragon? Okay, personally, neither. I have no allegiance to the Red Dragon or Black Dragon. I think the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. The father was an idiot. Has to be said. He gave his bastard son Blackfire's sword, and he legitimized them all when he died. I mean, I do have to admit, I can see why people felt the Blackfire should have been king. It does seem like basically the father's saying he should be king. He legitimizes them on his deathbed. But then again, you could say, on his deathbed, he maybe isn't completely clear. He's not completely conscious. But then again, he did give the son Blackfire the sword of the kings, of the Targaryens. So I do see points for the Red Dragon, or the Black Dragon, I guess. But then again, there's other ways to look at it. I think it's a difficult one to say, but I do see why people supported the Blackfires. But yeah, personally, when it comes to claims and inheritance, it's totally irrelevant to me in some ways. Next question. What type of dog do you have? I don't know. That is the truth. I think he's some kind of he's a cross between... People here in China, they call them teddies. So he's kind of like a cross between a teddy and a poodle. He's like a very, very small poodle, kind of brown fur, very fluffy. He's really cool, actually. But yeah, not really sure there. What was the first Paradox interactive game you played? That was Europa Universalis 3. Europa Universalis 3 was the first one I found. It's because I was playing Civilization 4, and I wanted to find some more in-depth games. So I like Civilization 4, but obviously I like it when you can kind of set up, you can play anyone in the world. And so I looked for more in-depth grand strategy games, and I found EU3. And I loved the hell out of that game. That game was awesome. And that got me into Paradox games. Next question. Someone asked, how are you part Portuguese and part Spanish? So this is just a question about something I think I said maybe in the past. I'm actually half Portuguese. No, not half Portuguese. I'm a quarter Portuguese and a quarter Spanish. Now, the reason for that is that my grandfather, he is from Spain. He fought in the Spanish Civil War, and he fought for the side of the people against the fascist government. But in the end of the war, he was banished, obviously, because he fought for the people. So he was banished from the country, and he could never go back, so he came to England, and he helped them during World War II, so they let him stay there. And he met my grandmother, who was Portuguese. So she was fully Portuguese, he was fully Spanish, and so my father was born in England, so he's completely English, really, but his blood is half Spanish, half Portuguese. And so my mother is English, and so I'm a quarter Spanish, a quarter Portuguese, and half English, blood-wise. Not obviously in culture, I'm completely English really in culture. But I always have a soft spot for Spain and Portugal, obviously, for the, I have a lot of family there and stuff, and we go and see them. That's why I love the food. I think Spanish food is probably the best food in the world, personally. Actually, Spain is probably my favorite country in the world. I just feel so comfortable there. I really just feel the most comfortable in Spain than anywhere else in the world. So that's how I'm part Spanish, part Portuguese. Because of that. So yeah. So I guess I'm half Iberian. I like to say I'm half Iberian because yeah. Where did you get your name? So obviously this is in reference to obviously NGParadox. Now I'm not going to explain it completely, but I'll explain the basics. Basically, I decided to come up with a name, and I came up with the name NGP. That's because NGP was meant to stand for something. And then I wanted a name. So I was like, I want a name so people can identify me in a more simpler way. And as I was trying to think of some names, and I thought, you know what? If I can have NGP, I should put the name at the end of the P, so it should begin with P. So I was trying to think of names beginning with P that I thought fitted me. And I couldn't find any names at all. I couldn't think of anything. And when I first started the channel, I didn't really know what this channel was going to be about. At the time, I was playing Project Zomboid and some other games like that. Not actually Paradox Interactive games. So the name does not come, Paradox does not come from Paradox Interactive. That was actually a complete coincidence. What happened was I was trying to think of names that began with P, and I couldn't think of anything. And the only one I could think of that I thought I liked was, I went Paradox. I was like, you know what, Paradox, the meaning of the paradox I really like. I like the concept of a paradox. That's just really cool to me. And so I thought, and also the name itself I just think suits me, and I like the name. So I decided to go with that, and that's where the name comes from. And then I started to do some CK2 on the channel, and that became really popular. And so now I kind of regret it, because I feel like people are going to think I chose Paradox just because I play a lot of Paradox games, but it actually had nothing to do with it. So that's always annoyed me since then. So I'm kind of annoyed. I was at one point thinking of changing the name because that happened. But I decided to keep with it because that's what I chose because I felt it suited me, and I like the name. So yeah, that's how the name came about. But that's how far I'll go in telling you about it. Next one. Will you do another multiplayer series with other YouTubers like Burton? Okay, so this is probably in reference to CK2 Game of Thrones mod. Now, I do want to play CK2 Game of Thrones mod multiplayer, but we actually tried to record it for a whole month. Me, Vujo, Dronka, and a couple of other people, we actually tried to record CK2 Game of Thrones for about a month. Every Sunday we'd meet up and try and record them, but every time it would go completely wrong due to the instability. The mod is just not stable in multiplayer right now, so I think that's not going to happen anytime soon. And when it comes to other multiplayers, at the moment me and some of the other guys were playing multiplayer in Stellaris, which will release at some point in the near future, but we've been recording that the last couple of weeks. And I've got some other multiplayers possibly planned in the future with some other YouTubers which I've never recorded with before. And I will say, actually, for the beginning of this season of A Game of Thrones, I was hoping to try and set up a Game of Thrones mod multiplayer with some quite big people. Bigger than me, very much bigger than me. I thought it would have been epic. It probably wasn't the best thing for you guys. As viewers, I think it would have been the biggest present to give to you guys if that could have worked, but it didn't because the others had questions about the stability. Now, I know in older versions of the mod it's actually quite stable, but they didn't feel quite sure about it, so we didn't actually get to do that. But if I'd have done that, that would have been probably the biggest thing I've ever done. But it didn't come to pass, but the fact that they actually talked to me was pretty cool. I enjoyed that part of it. But there will be some multiplayer series in the coming future. But with Burton, actually, because you specifically said Burton, Burton's a great guy. Burton, if you're listening, you're a great guy. But obviously, Burton, as I said before, he doesn't have the time at the moment really to, shall we say, to give to a multiplayer series. So he said to us before when we were trying to do multiplayers before, he doesn't feel like he's wants to join, just in case he can't make it. So obviously, if he does have time in the future, maybe he can join us again in the future. We're always open to him. The door is always open to Burton. Good guy. Next one then. What is your favorite movie? Actually, this is one of the few favorites, which actually isn't too difficult for me. I love comedy. So I love comedy movies, and sadly for me, well, not sadly, I guess, I love it, but a lot of people might not like it, but I like those movies that really mean something. You know the movies that tend to win, like Movie of the Year? I tend to like those movies, sadly. For example, like there was Avatar and there was Hurt Locker. I absolutely hated Avatar. Avatar, I almost fell asleep in. Now, some of you are probably thinking, what the F are you talking about? Avatar was a great movie. A lot of people love that movie, and I respect it for what it is, but I couldn't stand it. To me, it was completely boring. The acting was terrible. The characters had no substance. The the story was just a rehash. I mean, they talk about, like, when the movie came out, they were talking about how original it was going to be. Like, you know, because the whole CGI and stuff, it looks so cool. The animals are so, like, different and original, completely made from scratch. It's like, if you gave a child that type of software, a teenager, he could make those same animals. Personally, I would think. They have so much imagination. Those animals, to me, were not imaginative at all. I really didn't see it, personally. CGI lets us do anything now. I don't think that's that imaginative. Personally, that's just my opinion. And the story was basically just Pocahontas in space. So I was watching it, I was like, what is this? The story is terrible. He helps them basically kill his own people, which is also kind of weird. But the whole story just boring, terrible. I did not care for anyone. When he's learning about their culture, I did not care one single bit. I found it so boring, I wanted to go to sleep. And that's the first time in a movie I've ever had that. I thought Hurt Locker was great. So when I watched Hurt Locker before that, I was like, nah, this is an awesome movie. It had a meaning, it had substance, the actors did a great job in it. I really felt it. When I left that movie, I was like, you know what? I really just liked the movie overall. And so I was really happy when it won Best Movie. I felt it did deserve it over Avatar. A movie making the most money in the world does not mean it's a great movie. It's an entertaining movie. It doesn't mean it's a great movie. So actually, my favorite movie, though, is a comedy, because I like comedy. Personally, I like black comedy, so I kind of like a lot of Coen Brothers things. Like, I love... what's it called? What was the TV show made off their... I can't remember that. The TV show made from one of their movies. I can't remember. You guys have to remind me in the comment section. I can't remember what it is now. God damn it, that's going to annoy me. But my favorite movie probably is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Now, many people might not know what that movie is, and I know a lot of people don't like that movie. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is a Coen Brothers movie with George Clooney and a couple of other people in it. And it's about 3 guys who escape prison and basically go on an adventure, basically across the country to kind of get treasure, shall we say. It is basically a rehash of Odysseus, the story of Odysseus. But they're they actually say at the beginning that this is basically Odysseus, which I love. I love the old story, but they said it in 1930s America. And so the way that they've kind of put it in is, I think, amazing. The comedy makes sense. It's spot on. The music is beautiful. The actors are all perfect. Interesting characters. I love the whole thing. I can watch Oh Brother, Art Thou as many times as possible. Personally, though, again, because it's really difficult for me to say favorites. I'm not very good at favorites, so I love lots of other movies. But that one I probably put as my number 1 just because it's just a great movie. Like, it's just a great piece of art, I guess, in a way, like, as a movie. So I love that one. That's what I'd say, if I had to choose one. Have you got any unique tips on how to grow a new YouTube channel? Okay, this is an interesting question. So about how to grow a YouTube channel. Now, YouTube is not easy. Speaking from experience, YouTube is not easy, and there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to a YouTube channel. Now, I wouldn't say, obviously, I'm not that successful. I've had a lot of success, I would say. I'm extremely proud. Like, to get into 10,000 was always just, that would be like the ultimate goal. Like, that would be a dream goal. And we did that, and we're still growing strong. So I guess I can talk about this. So when I have spoken to other people about it in the past. Other people have actually asked me. I've had messages from other people saying, you know, can you give me some advice? What do you think? I've spoken to other people about this before. But my point of view is that when you're making a YouTube channel, you should just do it for fun. So when if it's a new YouTube channel, as this says, when you're first doing it, just do it for fun, because you're likely not going to get anywhere. Most people don't get anywhere. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of YouTube channels that get nowhere. It is slightly down to luck, but also substance. So if you want people to notice you, that's the hardest part. You could be making great commentary, but no one will ever notice you. And that means you need to pick the right games. So for example, personally, I think my channel was noticed at the beginning because I played Secret 2 Game of Thrones mod. There was not many people playing that at the time, and there was not really any big people doing it. There was a few big people who have done it, but they didn't make it into many series. And so I was one of the few who was doing it consistently. And I think that's what got me noticed, because there wasn't many, and there wasn't many before that. So that got me noticed quite early. So I think if you want to do that sort of thing, you want to make your own YouTube channel, you should be doing something that other people are not doing, something that will get people noticed. If you get noticed, people will actually be able to find you. That's the hardest part. And then if you get those views, the problem is to keep them. You want people to continue to follow your series and subscribe and then watch every video that you have. The way to do that is consistency. You want to be making sure that videos are coming out consistently. Maybe not too much though. If you make too much, it's a difficult conversation really. Too much obviously means more people will notice you. So that means more likely people will find you. Obviously you'll get through series a lot quicker. That means people will like that. They'll have more things to watch. But the bad thing is that it could get people tired of you and they might start unsubscribing. They go, oh, he's got so many videos, I just can't follow them. I'd rather just watch this other person more. He's just a bit more laid back. So that can actually fire back against you. Obviously, it has worked for other people. I guess a good example of that is Arryn. He's a good example of how someone can do that. But for many people, it does not work like that. So the main thing you want to do is get yourself noticed. That's the hardest thing. Second bit is keep them. Now, how to keep them, be consistent. Make sure that your quality is up to standard. You got to remember, most people these days, when they watch YouTube, there's hundreds of you, there's thousands of you, there's so many people who do YouTube. They have many options. Why should they watch your videos? You need to have the quality good enough, at least. So that means the video quality, that means the audio quality has to be up to at least a certain standard. I think mine just hits the basic, basically. Mine, I think, is the base, at least the basic you should have. If you're underneath the quality of my videos, then you need to improve them, I think, personally. Because I'm not a technical whiz, I'm not very good at that sort of thing. I did invest in some more equipment thanks to you guys, but it's not exactly the most high quality because I just don't have the money to invest in that kind of thing. But that's something I would always say first. Next up, obviously, if you're growing your YouTube channel, if you are a YouTuber or you want to in the future, don't worry too much about subscribers. Now, I know it's going to sound really silly because you've just seen, this is all about me celebrating 10,000 subscribers, but the subscribers are just a number. Someone might subscribe to you and watch no videos. What's the point then? The point that you want is that people to watch your videos. The reason you have a YouTube channel, the reason you'll make videos is because you want people to watch it. That means you want views. The views are what matter. If you're getting 1,000 views, but you've only got 100 subscribers, okay, firstly, you're doing something right. You're getting people to notice your program. If they're continually watching your series, that's even better. They obviously like your content. People might not be inclined to subscribe to a smaller YouTuber, usually, because people, when they see a small YouTuber, they think, okay, this guy might just disappear one day. And people, there is that thing called the sheep effect. If people see other people like something, they're more likely to join in with that thing. It's kind of the group effect. So that works as well. So don't worry too much about your subscribers. That's not the thing you should be concentrating on. It's your viewers. You might see there's some big YouTubers that have hardly any viewers. Now, obviously, that could be down to the fact maybe they're changing the channel, maybe they're trying some different things. That can also affect. So it's not clear-cut for every channel and every person. But I always say to everyone, don't just keep looking at your subscribers. Look at those views. I'll tell you one thing now. I don't usually like to talk about analytics for my channel, but I can tell you right now, when it comes to views, half of my views, probably more than half of my views, are people who are not subscribed. I can look at analytics and it can tell me who's subscribed and who's not subscribed, and it will tell me the views for each. And when I click on non-subscribed views, it's more than half of my overall views. So that means I have some people who are consistently watching my videos, maybe watching it every day. Maybe they don't have an account. Maybe they just like to be checking in. Maybe they don't really like to subscribe to too many people. It could be for many reasons, but they still enjoy and watch the videos, but they don't subscribe. And that's more than half of all my views. That's insane. And that's a good thing. That tells you there is potential for your channel. If you're looking at the potential for your channel, if you have all your views come from subscribers, that means that's a good thing. Obviously, they're watching all your videos, but it means you can't grow because that means you've got all your potential growth. If you're getting a lot of views from people who aren't subscribed, that means those people are potential subscribers. Now, there could be, like I say, many reasons they don't subscribe, but they're potential ones. That means your channel still has potential to grow. So I always say to people, concentrate more on the views first. That's what you should be looking at to kind of differentiate how successful your channels grow in. But yeah, that's, I guess, the only things I could say for now. I could talk about this quite a long time. I have a lot of opinions on YouTube. The main thing I would say to you, don't don't always believe what other people say. A lot of people will do those things like sub for sub. Sub for sub is dumb. That's what I think. I think sub for sub is dumb because you see lots of small YouTubers, they try and do it because they think it helps, it gives them subscribers. But these people aren't going to watch your videos. What's the point? I can see what they mean. It can contribute to the idea of, the like I said, the sheep effect, where people are all joining because they see other people have joined in. But it really doesn't help you at all. There's no point. Really. Don't do sub for subs from what I can see. It does not benefit you. It just adds wasted subscribers, which are just dead. So there's no point. The other thing as well, when it comes to, what's the word should I say? Advertising your channel. A lot of people say you should advertise your channel because you need to get noticed. Like I said at the beginning, that's one of the most important things. When you're advertising your channel, don't go on other people's channels and advertise your channel. Don't, go, hey guys, I've made a channel, come look at my channel. People are not going to react well normally. And people say, but how else do I get noticed? And that is true. That is the most difficult thing when you're starting out as a new YouTuber. And I think I'm a good example of that. It is possible. I did not do that, really. I don't remember. Did I? I don't think I did. I do sometimes leave comments on people's channels, like on videos, but that's just me leaving a comment. It's just me, like, I leave comments on the Paradox Extra channel, like when they did their streams for Stellaris, and I think Hearts of Iron 4. I left comments because I watched those videos, I was interested, and I was like, I put Hype Train for Stellaris. And you never know, maybe people will look at that and see the channel. That is, if you want to try and advertise your channel, just be an active member in different communities. Maybe go to Reddit. Maybe that's a place you could do it. I didn't really do that, but maybe that's a place you could do it. Personally, the best way to advertise your channel is on YouTube. And that is by choosing the right things to do. Don't play everything everyone else is playing. There's so many people playing those things. Try and find something different. Try and find your own niche. That is the best kind of feedback I can give to you. Now, obviously, that's not completely my story, but I'm just trying to give advice if any of you are people who want to start your own channel, or people who tried to and it didn't work out, or I don't know. There's so many people who try it, and I'm just one of the lucky ones. There is a part of luck in it, I will admit. But it's also down to hard work as well and determination. If you just give up and you're not consistent, that's going to be a big no-no. But even people who do that, sometimes find they don't find what they were looking for. They don't find they can make that community or those viewers. But yeah, again, this is another question which I have a lot to talk about on. But yeah, maybe another time we'll go into that more. Next question. What do you think Peter Baelish's outcome will be in the show/book? Okay, now Littlefinger obviously is a character I've talked about before. I really like. He's probably is or one of my favorite characters overall. The actor does a great job. He was actually a great choice for the character, I think. Now his outcome. Now this is really difficult. I hate to make outcomes for these things because really it's just kind of fan fiction and it's just kind of what I would want. So if I was writing Peter, if I was writing him as a character for a story, this is how I would do it. But obviously, like I said before, the reason I like J.R.R. Martin's books is because they're real. Characters do not end the way they're supposed to. Great warriors might be killed by a pack of dogs or assassins. And that makes sense because that can happen. I always get annoyed when people say, like in the Game of Thrones mod, when like they have a great warrior character, he gets killed by a random swordsman. They go, what the hell? My guy's so great. How did this guy kill him? This is stupid. But that's what happens. Any great swordsman can be killed by any sword, even held by a child. Podrick is a good example of that. He just stabbed the Kingsguard in the back, killed him. Obviously, he stabbed him in the back, but even one-on-one, all you got to do is make one mistake. The difference between a great swordsman and a bad swordsman, a great swordsman makes less mistakes, but it only takes one. Only takes one, and they stab you, you're dead. That's it. That's why guns are so powerful nowadays, because guns literally allow everyone just to kill everyone. But yeah. But what do I think his outcome would be? This would be what I would love. If I was thinking of the best outcome, how I would like his character to go, this would be, I think, the best outcome. I think, let's take the book. Let's take the book from this example. So obviously in the book at the moment, again, spoilers if you've not read the books. In the books, Littlefinger is in the Vale. He has Sansa. He has control of Sweet Robin. I think that Littlefinger will marry Sansa to Harry the Heir, because that's what it sounds like he's going to do. Then he'll kill Sweet Robin, Harry the Heir comes to power. He knows that it's thanks to Littlefinger. He knows that he gave her Sansa, so he's very loyal to Littlefinger. Using Sansa's claim, they attack the north. So the Vale and Sansa, they kind of go to the north, they get back the north from the Boltons, they unify the north under Sansa Stark. That means her and her husband control the Vale and the north. Littlefinger then kills Harry the Heir. So he then kills Harry the Heir. The Vale is left without a leader, but they have no one else to turn to, so they turn to him maybe. He then makes sure that Sansa did not have a baby, because I don't know, there's something about his plan. I feel like his ultimate plan is to have Sansa himself. I really do, because he loved Cat so much. And she's like the young Cat he always wanted. And that's why his character's so injured. That tragic backstory of the whole thing with the jewel and stuff, I think is really good. I think that's a really cool story. And it doesn't mean he's a good man. It doesn't obviously, you know, make it okay for the things he does. He's still an extremely bad man, but it just allows you to understand the character, and that's what I love about these characters, some of the side characters more than some of the main characters. So I think his ultimate goal is to have Sansa, so I do think that whoever he marries her to, he'll get rid of them. Or he'll make sure they can't have kids. He'll cuckold them, maybe, and he'll get her to think that he's her white knight, the man who really saved her, and basically manipulate her into thinking that he's the one who saved her and she loves him, and so he'll have her. That's what I think his ultimate goal is. Then they'll go down on the Riverlands. They'll free the Riverlands from the Lannisters using Sansa, obviously, because the Tullys and all the Riverlands people can unite under Sansa, the sister of Robb Stark. He'll then have the Vale, he'll have the Riverlands and the North under his power, and he'll attack the Iron Throne. And the Iron Throne will be in disarray because the High Septon will have brought the people against the Lannisters, and the Tyrells obviously fighting the Lannisters as well, possibly because of sort of defaction. We already know kind of that multiple people will sit the Iron Throne before the end. I think J.R.R. Martin has said this, and I think Littlefinger will get there maybe when Aegon is there. So Aegon will get there, and Littlefinger, he'll be at King's Landing trying to attack it, and Littlefinger will get there. He'll defeat Aegon outside the city of King's Landing. The Lannisters will think he's there to save them, but then he'll appear with Sansa Stark, and they'll attack King's Landing. They'll take King's Landing for themselves, and Littlefinger will declare himself king through the support of Sansa and the Riverlands and the Vale. They'll all want him to be king because they think that he saved the people. He saved Sansa. They all look up to him. So he'll put himself as king for the backing of them. Then when he's made as king, he'll offer to marry Sansa. Maybe she thinks about it. She's not sure though about it. And as things go by, as soon as he becomes king, though, he starts to show who the real person he is, and she starts to become wary of him. She starts going, "Wow, he doesn't care about anyone else but himself. Maybe I was wrong about him." And then Daenerys will come. So I think he'll sit the Iron Throne, and then Daenerys will come. Daenerys will come with her dragons, maybe a fleet, and attack the Iron Throne. Now, with dragons and an army, maybe to Sansa, she'll realize they can't stand against her. And so Daenerys will make an option. She doesn't know who Baelish is, and she'll say to him, she'll give him an offer, an ultimatum. He can stand down, give her her crown, and no one will die. The Northmen, the Valemen, the Riverlands men can all go back to their homes. No one has to die, and he can give her a crown. But if he continues the fight, she will kill everyone. Now, I think, obviously, Baelish, being the man he is, he'll never give up that crown. If he's just obtained it, he'll be like, "No, I have this. My plan was perfect. I will not give this up." And so he'd rather let everyone die than lose that crown. He's willing to sacrifice all the Northmen, all the Valemen, all the Riverland men, and I think that Sansa will see his true colours. He'll pretend this whole time that he's been doing this for the good of the realm, and he's there for the Riverland men, the Northmen, and the Railmen, but she'll realise that he's there. He's fine with just letting them all die for his own greed and glory. When to her, she thinks, just let her have it. Who cares? You know, we got revenge. We got our own back. You should just let her have it. We can't fight her and her dragons. But Littlefinger won't listen. So I think then what will happen is Sansa will stab him in the back. And I mean literally, she'll stab him in the back and he'll be killed by Sansa. So his one weakness, I feel, is his greed for the throne and Sansa. Those, I think, are his two weaknesses. Basically, Cat and the throne, power. Those are his two weaknesses, and those two things combined will get him killed, because he'll he'll feel he'll feel secure around her. So to save all the people of the Vale and just to stop more people from dying, Sansa by that point would be so tired of people dying, she'll stab him in the back. She'll realize the man that he really is. Maybe she'll find out that he killed, it was his fault Ed died, and so she'll kill him. I think that would be perfect. And so she lets Daenerys into King's Landing. Daenerys will forgive her and the Starks for obviously her father's, being one of the usurper's dogs. And she'll walk in, take the Iron Throne, and become queen. She'll then fly off to the wall to help Jon Snow fight the White Walkers. And together, her and Jon Snow will lead men against the White Walker threat. In this battle, Daenerys will die. So in this battle, Daenerys will die, she'll fall, but in her death, she defeats the White Walkers and the dragons die with her. Jon Snow is then declared the king. Because Dany maybe can't have children, because there are some hints maybe she can, but I'm going to say she can't have children, or she didn't have children at this point, so there's no heir. Aegon was killed by Littlefinger. He executes him as a sign of strength, and Daenerys then has no other heirs. So everyone declares Jon Snow the king, because obviously with his death, he's maybe no longer a Night's Watchman, but everyone sees him as the hero. Him and Dany were the leaders, the heroes who saw the real threat. And so he becomes king, not because he's possibly the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, but because he truly deserves it. And that's what I think would just make a good ending. I really would hate it if Jon Snow becomes king because people find out that maybe he's a Targaryen. That would ruin it for me, because I feel like Jon Snow's story this whole time has been about the fact that he's a bastard. It's because he's not from a family. He feels like he is, but the fact everyone else does not see, he doesn't feel like he's part of the family. And so he's had to kind of go out on his own. He becomes Lord Commander because he is the best choice. Not because he's a Stark, not because he's a Targaryen, not even because he's a Snow. It's because he's the best man. And that's why I want him to be king. He really is just a good man. And I think that's why he should get the Iron Throne if he gets it. I mean, I don't see... A lot of people said, but we have to meet Howland Reed because he has to reveal that Jon Snow is, the true heir. And I keep thinking, no. Jon Snow, it does not have to be revealed at all. He can become king because he is the hero of the world, of Westeros. That's why he can be king. And I don't know, that would make me feel very happy. If they finished it like that, I feel like all the pieces would fall into place that way. I'll be very happy with that. I don't think that will happen at all. I know many people probably disagree with me. Many people maybe hate that ending. But that's just how I feel. But it will never happen. Next question. What do you miss most about England in China? Okay, now, probably the thing I miss most, this is pretty easy actually, is my friends. My best friends. Now, I have a very strong relationship with my friends from high school. We have a very strong bond. We're like the tightest group of friends. Nothing will break us. And I've been very lucky when it comes to friends. My university friends as well. I've obviously made new friends in China, but I still miss my friends back in England like hell. And my family, of course. So those two things are probably the things I miss the most. Other things, you know what? I can get most things in China, to be honest. China is not what most people think it is, especially the part of China I live in. It's extremely Western. But yeah. Next question. When will you start the CK2 Warhammer mod playthrough? Now, I did say I was going to start a CK2 Warhammer mod playthrough, but that was because I wanted to get ready for the Warhammer Total War game. I wanted to play that for that. But now that Warhammer Total War is now been released, I just never had time to do it. And now that that's released, I think Total War, like I think CK2 is the best game for Game of Thrones, I think Total War is perfect for Warhammer. I don't think CK2 is. So, I probably will never play it. I'd rather play Warhammer Total War. That's just the truth of it. So I do apologize for that. That will probably never happen. Probably just, if I do more Warhammer stuff, it'd be Total War. But yeah. Next question. Who is the rightful ruler of Westeros in your opinion? Wow. That opens a whole can of worms, that one question, doesn't it? Now, as I said, I kind of hinted at before, when it comes to inheritance, it means nothing to me. Really, when you're talking about who is the rightful ruler, there's no such thing. really, when you think about it, I think Tywin says it best when he says, if you have to name yourself king and no one else calls you a king, you're not truly a king. You're only a king when other men call you the king and they bow to you. That's when you're a king. So really, obviously, Aegon Targaryen did unite the Iron Throne. He united Westeros. So he was the first king. And he did it because of his power, his strength. Then as time went by, obviously, we had the Mad King, and he lost the throne to Robert. Now, is that obviously taking the throne from him, is that lawful? Now, obviously, debating whether it's lawful or not, the Targaryens are mostly all killed, apart from obviously Viserys and Dany. In quotation, they say so. So from what we can tell, possibly, there may only be Viserys and Dany. So does that mean then Viserys is the rightful king? Or is Robert the rightful ruler? That is the biggest problem here. Do you say that the war, the usurper's war, does that count as really him being the rightful ruler? Or does it still continue to be Viserys because his father is the one who created that throne? Now, you could go either way actually with that. There's actually no clear-cut way to put it. Now, you could obviously say that obviously Viserys is because it's his ancestors who created the Iron Throne, and so that is theirs. They created it. And so technically, in inheritance-wise, it would be his. But you could also say that because Aegon conquered the Iron Throne, Robert Baratheon conquered the Iron Throne, then you could say maybe he is the rightful king. And because the people call him the king, in a way that does make him the de facto king. So he's then the rightful heir. So I think that the whole rightful heir thing is an absolute moot point. There's no such thing. Personally. I don't think it makes any sense. So let's say if we go through one way or the other. So let's say we go through the Viserys way. Let's say we say it just goes through the family. Viserys is, and obviously Viserys is dead, so then it goes to Dany. So Dany is technically then the rightful queen. So if you don't see the right of conquest, then you would see that Dany is the rightful queen. That's how you'd see that. That's why I can understand people seeing it from different sides. I can understand everyone's point of view, and that's why I say there's no point, personally, to this conversation. If you go the other way, though, obviously, that makes things even more complicated and very interesting, obviously, because you have Robert Baratheon, and obviously Robert Baratheon died. That means his son's king, but his sons are not really his sons, so they're not really the rightful heirs. So then it does go to Stannis. Stannis is the rightful king. Now, obviously, Renly, if he'd have conquered the Iron Throne, you could say he's the rightful king because he did it by conquest, as he said, just like Robert Baratheon, which again just reinforces the whole point that it's so mute. It is so invalid, the idea of who is the rightful ruler. So if you're going to go that way, it's technically Stannis. Really. So really you got to go, it's either Dany or Stannis. That's really who the rightful ruler is. Personally, I don't think it really matters. It's whoever the people think is king. The king is just a total moot point, personally. I find that question really difficult to go through, just because if I had to choose one, I guess if you want, I'm guessing what you're really asking here is, you want me to choose Dany or Stannis. Personally, I choose Renly, because I think he was the best man for the job. I believe the man who's the best for the job should be it. Or woman, of course. But obviously that's not the world they live in, the rightful rule of inheritance. I guess you kind of got to go with Stannis. Because I believe that, I guess, Robert took it, so there you go. I don't think Joffrey really took the Iron Throne. He kind of sat, and he's using his father's, kind of position to have it. So I'd say Stannis in that regard, if I had to choose one. But really, I don't think there is one. But yeah. Okay, next question. What is your goal for YouTube? What is your dream job? I want to answer the second question first. What is your dream job? Now, my dream job, like I said before, I'm kind of an ambitious guy, and I like to be creative. I think I'm actually best at being creative. The problem is I can be too creative sometimes. I'm very good at analyzing things and guessing movies. If you don't want to watch movies with me sometimes, because I tend to guess the plots in movies. My sister used to hate going to movies with me in the family because I could always guess who the bad guy. I go, I bet you that's the bad guy. And my sister would say, shut up. And then for the whole movie, she'd be thinking this. And it turns out he is the bad guy or she's the bad guy. She'd go, God damn it. I knew the whole way through because you made me think that. But she wouldn't have thought it otherwise. So I would love, my dream job would have been probably a director. I think my dream job would have been director or writer. I love just creating something like stories or something that other people can enjoy. Like, if I was J.R.R. Martin and I'd written these books, that'd probably be my dream. That would literally, yeah, that probably would be my dream. Or make like a movies, or so that people can just take and enjoy, make them forget their lives, inspire people. That's what I would strive to do in my life. My life, I feel like, is about having no regrets. That's another reason why I did YouTube. I don't have any regrets. I thought, might as well try it. And kind of that just idea that people take something, they can watch something you created or helped create, and it makes their life better. Maybe not much, just they enjoy it. But that, to me, is a big effect. You affect a lot of people's lives. You might even inspire them, such as Game of Thrones has inspired many other people. So for me, that would be my dream job, director or writer. What is your goal for YouTube was the other question. I personally don't have a goal. I guess my goal, as I said before, is just to make something that people can enjoy. And I feel like I make a difference in that way. Even if it's extremely small. If I can inspire one person, that's perfect. That's all I need, personally. I would love, obviously, for YouTube to obviously become a big thing. If my channel became massive, like some other YouTubers who do similar games, and I could do it as a part-time job, or even, God forbid, God dream, obviously a full-time job, I would definitely take that because I just enjoy this. This is actually a job, this is actually a hobby that I just enjoy. I far enjoy this more than doing my work. Even though it's pretty stressful and pretty tiring, it takes a lot of strain on my throat and other things, I get more satisfaction from this than anything else I probably do when it comes to like something I worked on. So yeah, my goal for YouTube is just kind of just continue what I'm doing now. My goal was kind of 10,000 subscribers. Because I didn't even think we'd get this far, but now I guess maybe I can dream bigger, I guess. But there's no particular dream, just keep on creating stuff. I would like if I could maybe expand into other stuff. Maybe in the future I might make a second channel where it's called maybe NGPlays instead, where basically I'll play other types of games. So this channel, NGParadox, will be for the games that fit the games I play now. So strategy games, immersion games, Game of Thrones stuff, that type of thing. I have a second channel called NGPlays where I play other types of games like Football Manager, The Witcher 3, Fallout, because I know a lot of people like to play me see those games. So that would be one thing. I would like to make a third channel called maybe a Paradox in China, where basically I make videos in China. Because I'm going to live in China for a long time, it seems. It seems like I'm going to live in here for a long time at the moment. So yeah, things have gone very well for me. So I'd like to stay for a long time. So I would love to do videos about my experiences in China. Maybe just silly videos where I get some other foreigners together and get them to try unique Chinese food that's really weird and crazy. That type of thing. Just some really fun stuff. And my, film things I've seen on YouTube, my thoughts about my time here. That type of thing. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe. I don't know if people are interested in that, but I just want to try and create some other stuff. Maybe in the future go into more other things like machinimas or skits. Because like I say, I would love to be able to write or be a director. I would love to one day be able to like make some sort of story or something. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But yeah, I think way too much. The thing I'm always told by other people is that I think too much. When you make me think, as you can see from probably many of these answers, I kind of go off on one. I have so many thoughts. That's why it's hard for me to choose favorites. There's so many thoughts at that one moment when I think of them. I can't even sometimes think clearly sometimes. But that does allow me then to talk a lot. As you guys probably notice, I can talk for a lot and for a long time. But that's also sometimes why I say things wrong, because you're trying to commentate and do things, but I'm also thinking way too much. Okay, next question. What are your opinions on Sid Meier's games, and would you consider doing a series on Civ 5 or Civ 6 when it comes out? Now, Sid Meier games, I've only really played the Civilization series. Now, I know Sid Meier's games are very highly respected. They're normally highly respected. I know the Pirates game, Civilization, there's been a lot of different games that have been made by them that people love. And personally, Civilization 4 and 5, I think are really good games. I really enjoy them. Now, Civ 5 I don't really do to the channel because I do prefer over Civ 5. I do prefer EU4, CK2, Stellaris, and Hearts of Iron 4. I actually prefer those games because I like the aspect of it being in the real world and you can play any country. Now, Civ 6 I will probably play actually. I'm actually kind of from what I've seen from Civ 6, we've only seen a very little bit, but it's started to pique my interest. I was very surprised how interested I am in it, and how excited I am for it, actually. So maybe Civ 6 can get me back into it. I don't know, maybe Civ 5 I got kind of bored of very easily, but I think Civ 6, you probably will see a series on the channel. Who knows? Next one. Whom are your favorite YouTubers pre-YouTubing? Okay, so when I was younger, I don't really watch many YouTubers now, but when I was younger, obviously, I had to get the idea from somewhere. Now, the people I watch probably will surprise you guys, because it's not the types of games I normally play, but that's because the reason I guess the reason my channel wasn't going to particularly start as a strategy game channel was because most people I know don't like strategy games. I'm the only person of my real-life friends who likes strategy games. I'm not even joking. I'm being completely serious. I'm like the only one. And it drives me crazy. And so that's why I've really enjoyed doing the channel and stuff, because it allows me to play more strategy games for myself and my own enjoyment. But actually, the ones I originally watched weren't necessarily strategy game people. In fact, actually, the first person I ever watched that I kind of went, okay, this is what Let's Plays are. This is YouTube. Was people such as, I don't even know if you guys will know these people. I keep forgetting his name. His name is Seamus, SSOKHOPC or something like that. He's got a long acronym, very similar to like NGP. And it's really funny because someone mentioned him in one of my old videos when I said I wouldn't tell them what NGP means. So that was kind of funny. They mentioned him, go, oh, it's very similar to that. I guess maybe I got the influence from that, maybe it influenced my mind subconsciously. But that was one guy I really liked. And actually a lot of my style for doing Let's Plays comes from him. Because that was one of the first ones I watched and actually was like, this is actually, I can see why people watch Let's Plays now. Because he's really just laid back. He just plays for fun. He's not great at the games. He just kind of wants to play, and he wants you guys to just see it. And he can be very sarcastic. He can make lots of silly decisions. It made me think, wow, like I just enjoy it. It's just like playing games with your friends, and that's why I enjoy it. And I wanted to bring that to strategy games. I actually feel like a lot of people play sort of strategy games, and the types of games I like to record. The way they do it is very systematical, more like mini-maxing and stuff. Now, I'm not against mini-maxing. I'm not saying that's a bad way to play. That's fine. That's actually pretty commendable. And some people, it's really cool, actually. It's really ingenious the way they do things sometimes. But it's not only the way I like to play games. I like to play games for the fun of it. And that part, I don't really find that fun. I like to play it and just... I wanted to bring that aspect of how I like to play games into strategy games. Because I feel like not many people do it. I guess people like... Mathis and Northern Line kind of are like that. They play some strategy games maybe, and they'll probably have a fun side of it. I guess I'm closer to Quill, probably to anyone. I guess if I had to compare myself to anyone, because in a way he doesn't not know what he's doing. But he can make mistakes easily enough, but he kind of just plays. He does it for the fun of it. He doesn't necessarily try and find all like the different hacks and stuff, like the gamey stuff you can do. He plays. And I think that's kind of very similar to mine. But I would say my style is very similar to SSOKHC, or Seamus. I also watched some people he played with, like Uber Haxanova, who's quite a big YouTuber now. But when I saw him, he was like 10,000 subscribers. These guys had like 10,000 subscribers when I first saw them. They're the first ones I saw. And I kind of enjoyed watching them, actually. I thought, this is actually how Let's Play should be. This is something you watch and can just enjoy. It's entertainment in a way. And I really found those ones good. Anyone else that I kind of watch? I guess JonTron I found really late. Because again, I found those Let's Plays first, and I found like JonTron I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't watch that many YouTubers personally, I guess. Yeah. I guess obviously Rooster Teeth. Obviously Rooster Teeth is obviously a big thing. I always love Rooster Teeth. Red versus Blue, obviously a big thing for many people. I think big inspiration for many. Yeah, I guess those are probably the main ones. Nothing else really. Yeah, I was very late, I think, to the YouTubers. I think I found them just before university, and I kind of enjoyed them before university. Then I went to university, and I just never really looked at them that much. But yeah, but those ones I did watch played a big effect on me. What are your favorite type of movie? I answered this one already. Comedies, yeah. Comedies, especially dark comedies or black comedies, like In Bruges. In Bruges is great. You know, like a Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, those types of movies. I really enjoy those ones the most, actually. Next one. This one's very similar to what I talked about before, actually. Did you do sub for sub when you were fresh on YouTube or make fake accounts? No, I did not make fake accounts. I didn't really do sub for sub. I don't think it's a useful thing. I think it's really silly, really. And I don't see the point of me subbing for other people because I'm not going to watch their content anyway. So, yeah. Next question. Will you do more point and click and different games like before? It's always something to hear your awesome commentary over some other type of gameplay. I still cry over the death of your Fallout 4 series. So you mean point and click like The Walking Dead and the Forrester series, the Game of Thrones Telltale game. Now, this will definitely happen. It's just for now there are lots of games and strategy I want to play, such as, we've just had Stellaris come out, Total War Warhammer just came out, and now we're going to have Hearts of Iron 4. So it's really difficult for me to get into other games, but I do love lots of other games, and that is one reason why I'd like to make a second channel in the future. But games like the Telltale games, any games that are immersive, I will try. If I'm going to play them, you will see them. And I think they're meant to be bringing out a Game of Thrones Telltale Series 2. I'll definitely play that. And if they bring out a Walking Dead Season 3, I'll definitely play that. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Maybe I'll revive the Fallout 4 series. I actually have not played Fallout 4 since November because I've decided to just wait for the DLC. I feel like if I finish Fallout 4 and then, there's nothing else. You finished it, then when the DLC comes out, you just go back and play really for the DLC. Or make a new character so you can go play the DLC. I don't like that. I want to play the finished game. So I'm going to wait until all the DLC comes out. I'm going to go back and play it. So maybe I might record that then, actually. Maybe I will. I was going to do it myself, but maybe I'll revive it and we'll see what people think about at that time. Next question. What happened to your intro? That Minecraft animation thing. You said last time we don't talk about that. So yeah. Yeah, we don't really talk about that. But yeah, when I first started out, I made the channel. Obviously, I didn't really know how to make videos. I'm not a computer type of guy. And people kept telling me, you need to get people's attention. You need to have a title screen at the beginning of your episodes, like an intro. That is what people will remember. It will make them remember your name. And I am terrible when it comes to computers, doing software and stuff like that, and trying to make stuff. So I would not be able to make an intro at all. No animation at all. So I was thinking wow, how am I going to do that? How am I going to make some sort of intro, but not be able to make one? And so, I don't know why, but for some reason I had the crazy idea. I was like, you know what? I do know that we can build stuff in Minecraft. So I jumped into Minecraft, and I kind of just built a flat world, and I just writ, NGParadox in a village. And had that, and, I just went away from it, filmed it, and said, okay, so that can be a good intro. I had all the animals jumping around. I thought, there we go, that is an intro. See, now that makes my videos look more professional. I was an idiot. The reason we don't talk about it is because I took it away from my videos because I realized actually that it makes no sense. I'm not playing Minecraft games. If I was playing Minecraft, then maybe it would make sense. But I'm not playing. I'm playing games completely different to Minecraft that probably people who watch Minecraft would not watch, and people who watch them would not watch Minecraft. So it made no sense at all. So I felt it was really dumb. I was like, why did I do that? And I feel personally, I don't know about you guys, I feel like it ruins the old videos, and that really disappoints me, because I think some of the older videos, some of the older series, maybe the quality's not the best, but some of what happens, like the Rain series, are some of my best events. The Greyjoy one as well, I don't remember if we had that in the Greyjoy one, where I was Theon and Balon, but it might have been, and it kind of disappoints me. That's why I don't like to talk about it, because I kind of don't understand why I did that. I guess it's because I have no ability at all when it comes to computers and making stuff. So yeah, I think actually it's much better without it. So that's one thing I'd say, guys. Don't make an intro. It just looks dumb. It wastes people's time at the beginning. You want to get people's attention right at the beginning with actually things they're interested in. So I felt like it was really dumb. I don't know. Maybe you thought you liked it. The real reason was because, like I say, I just play for fun. I like to bring a silly aspect to it, some sarcasm maybe. I think most people don't notice my sarcasm a lot of the time. A lot of the time I make little jokes, little comments, which are meant to be kind of like sarcasm or something, but I think, or very dry humor. I think a lot of time people don't notice. And that was kind of just meant to be kind of showing my, I guess, fun aspect. But yeah, it was dumb. So let's move on from that. Let's never talk about that ever again. But I'm glad I answered that, because I think it's important to talk about it, why I had it in the first place. It's just because people told me that was a good idea. But I've learned my own lessons from experience. Next question. What's your favourite football team? Swansea. I know a lot of people might be surprised, but it's Swansea. Swansea, I think, is an awesome football team. I have some personal reasons why I support them, which I will not go into, but that's why. I followed them since they won the Championship, and so I'm not like a glory supporter or anything. I just followed them from the Championship and got pretty lucky in my timing, I guess. But they're an awesome team. Very nice history. Really enjoy it, and I always like an underdog. Next question. If you had to worship a Game of Thrones god, who will you choose? Well, the old gods aren't really gods from what I can tell. I mean, if we take the hints, it sounds like they're not really gods. They're just the people in the trees who can go through time, apparently. So maybe not the old gods. Plus, they don't really do anything. They just kind of listen. But yeah. The other ones, obviously, the drown god. Probably don't want the drown god as the god I would follow. I don't like the idea of being drowned. That does not please me at all. Not really that fond of boats either. Then we have the seven-pointed star, which I guess is just kind of very... When it comes to religions, it's very normal, I guess. It reminds you a lot of Christianity. Roller obviously has some powers, though it is kind of the idea of sacrificing people and blood magic, maybe. I don't know, but it could give you some power. Then we have... So I guess it's either between seven-pointed star and the roller. Then we have the moon singers, the many-faced god. Not really fond of the god of death, because it's the whole idea of, the many-faced god's all about death and stuff, and changing your faces doesn't... I don't feel I could trust them, really. So I don't like that one either. The harpy, obviously, is not my thing. Quahor, obviously the goats, and Novos. Again, don't know enough about them. Dothraki, yeah, that's not for me. The great shepherd, that sort of thing. The great stallion or whatever. So yeah, it has to be between Roller or the seven-pointed star. I'd probably choose Roller, just because it gives me power. And I want power. So that's why I would choose that one. Plus, also, it can bring people back to life. My probably biggest fear is death. If I could live forever, I would live forever. I know many people would never choose that, because a lot of people don't like that. But personally, I guess it's because I like history and I'm a very historical perspective person and legacy person. I actually would really like that. So I'm going to go with Roller. Now this next question is asking the tough questions. Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle? Now this one actually touches a deep place in my heart. As I mentioned before, when I was a little kid, I did love Pokemon. I'll admit that. I did love Pokemon when I was a kid, but I was the perfect audience. I was the perfect age when they came out. And this one's easy for me. Squirtle. I've already said before, I like turtles. So Squirtle is absolutely perfect for me. He's a turtle, and he's cute as well, and he turns into a turtle with cannons on his back. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Personally, Bulbasaur, I do like kind of the frogs, as you saw with my Toadin series on Staris, but I don't know, I felt Bulbasaur always looked a bit dumb. I like green as well. I don't know, I never liked Bulbasaur. I just never liked the look of him. I felt Venusaur was a bit meh when compared to the other two. Charmander obviously is kind of cute, and obviously it's like a fire dragon. But I felt that was kind of... I guess the way I looked at Charmander and Charizard was like... It was like everyone's favorite. It's just kind of like... It's like so normal. It's like, of course he's everyone's favorite. He's a bloody dragon who breathes fire. Ugh, boring. That's how I kind of felt with Charizard. I don't know why. I like water. I don't know why when it comes to like games like with elements, water is always the one I choose. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I have a fear of the sea, like the deep, dark ocean, the unknown. I find that kind of scary, the fact, the unknown. I like to know things, so if I can't know things, I can find that kind of worrying. So I think I like the idea of controlling water. So whenever I like Pokemon, I always like the water Pokemon the most. So I always like Squirtle. Yeah, definitely. Has to be him. I've probably hurt a lot of people by saying that. But yeah, probably a lot of other people think I'm very dumb because I liked Pokemon. I don't know. Don't know how people feel about Pokemon for my audience. We don't normally talk about that. Next question. But it does... Yeah, there's a soft space... I'll always have a soft space in my heart for Pokemon. Even though I'm older now and I don't give a shit. But yeah. Is there anywhere you want to travel to but haven't? What advice would you give to someone settling in a new country? We're getting down to the last 3 questions now, actually. So is there anywhere you'd want to travel but haven't? Oh, there's so many places. Now, personally for me, I don't like to travel because of weather, like the sun and the beach and relaxing. I love to go places for the food and the culture. I really want to go to Moscow, like Russia. I think it'd be somewhere completely different. Istanbul in Turkey, again, a city with such history and such change. And Turkey always sounds like a very interesting country with kind of mixed stuff going on. I've always liked the idea of going there. Other places, I've been to quite a lot of other places I've wanted to go to, specifically in Europe. So most of Europe, places that I've kind of been to that I really, really want to go to. When it comes to other countries, I don't really feel like going anywhere in Africa that I haven't been to, South America as well. I would like to go to New York. Yeah, New York. If I go to America, I want to go to New York, definitely. That's probably the main place. And then in Asia, I guess maybe I'd like to go see the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, definitely that. Thailand, I'm not on, or Cambodia. I've not been to one of those two yet, which I keep meaning to. I'll probably go very soon, actually, because it's not too far away from me. But yeah, those are probably the places I haven't been to that I definitely want to go to. I've been to Japan, but I want to go again. I love Japan, so I want to go there again. What advice would you give to someone settling in a new country? That's a really difficult question because it really comes down to you personally. The first thing I'm going to say, if it's just a general advice, is it's not going to be perfect. When you first go to a new country, don't expect things to go as you plan. Things will go wrong. That's just the thing. Things will always go wrong when you first get there, especially. But once you settle down, that's when things goes back to normal. It's just that first maybe the first month, it can be absolute chaos, and that can make or break some people. I've seen many people come to China, they leave after 1 month because something goes wrong. Maybe their bags were wrong, maybe their clothes got hurt, maybe their flat is terrible that they get. I don't know. A lot of things, maybe their money didn't come through or something, or they spent all their money, this type of thing. There's so many bad things happen. They complain about their job or something. There's just so many things that go wrong. It's never going to be perfect. So you have to be determined. You have to be able to take a knock or two. It's just how things go. Another thing, obviously, watch out for scammers. If you're going to settle in a new country, when you first get there, people are going to see that you're a tourist. You've always got to act like you're not a tourist. Otherwise, people will try and scam you. You've got to notice for that sort of thing. If you're going to settle in a new country as well, try and get to know the actual people of the country. Don't go there and hang out with lots of other Westerners. That's fine if you want to. I mean, that's always fun because it's much easier to make friends that way. But you'll find it really depends on what country you go to. In China, I find being foreign is a big advantage because it already gives you something interesting. When I meet people, like I go to a bar maybe, when I'd meet people, people already have something they're interested in. I may not be the most handsome man. I wouldn't even say I'm pretty. I would say I'm maybe slightly ugly. I said in my doxes I made out character ugly. But I still get a lot of attention because I have something interesting. I'm a foreigner. People go, ooh, I want to know more about this guy. And that's something you have as an advantage in some countries. Not all countries. Sometimes it can be a disadvantage. But in some countries, it really can be really nice. And you can meet a lot of people that way just because you're a foreigner. It makes it so much easier. Be confident. When you're talking to people, you don't want to show any weakness. Try and eat as healthily as possible. The first thing you're going to find when you're settling a new country is illness is really easy. It's really easy to get sick, and it's probably going to be a lot worse than you would normally in your own country. Everyone gets sick, and that's, again, another thing that hits people back a bit harder. They maybe kind of they get sick and they get upset, and they go back home. But you'll find you'll probably get sick. It's much easier to get sick in another country, and you must be careful with that sort of thing. So just try and eat as much as food as possible, but be careful. Don't eat the street food. You're probably going to get sick. That type of thing. When it comes to other things, it's really down to you. I think it really depends on what country you go to is probably more important actually for this question. If I knew which type of country you were asking for what advice for selling a new country, that would be the main thing. But yeah, that would be the thing. Just go out with an open mind. That is probably the best piece of advice I can give you, and try and do as much as possible. I'll move on though. Next question. I could probably talk a bit more about the last one, but I feel like I need to end this because I'm getting bloody tired. This is a lot of questions. It took a lot longer than I thought. What do you think about your viewers judging by their councils in your small council streams? Personally, I actually think I have a pretty good community on my channel. I've seen a lot of other communities on YouTube, and I think a lot of them can be quite toxic. But I think my channel generally, you guys can be I think it's kind of a good, should we say, how should I put this? I don't know the word right now. I've been speaking for so long now that I can't even talk anymore. There's kind of a good balance. You guys are very welcoming to other people. You're very understanding. Whenever I see people have arguments or differences in opinion, they normally just talk it out and they go, well, okay, I can see it from your point of view as well. And I really like that. But you guys can also be absolute shitheads. And when I say shitheads, I don't mean like horrible to other people. I mean like in the council stream. If I was taking it just from the council stream, I'd think you guys are deranged. But then again, it is CK2 we're normally playing, so that's understandable. Basically, if you have not watched my live streams before, basically everyone would always tell me just to basically rape everyone, kill everyone, seduce everyone, have bastards of everyone, execute everyone. That's basically all that would happen. I remember my first live stream as Daenerys is probably one of my favorites just because she became a lesbian and everyone started making me seduce like Cersei and stuff. It was absolutely hilarious. So it's just part of having the fun and the craziness that can happen. So I really enjoyed that about the councils. So I don't think anything bad about you guys. In fact, I think that we have a good community, and I can see that on the Discord as well. People are just happy, they're talkative. People might say something a bit sarcastic to each other, but they don't mean it in a harsh way. They're kind of just saying it. It's just kind of normal for us. I think we're all very similar in that regard, mostly. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Last question then. This is, I think, actually from Burton himself. But yeah, if you were transformed into the body of a female Game of Thrones character other than Dany, who would it be? Fat Walder? Lisa Arryn? The choices are endless. Okay, so if I was transformed into the body of a female Game of Thrones character, that is really difficult. I would probably go with Brienne. I'd probably go with Brienne. You know what? I'm going to go with her. Because I don't think I'm very good at maybe making... I don't think I'm very good at making myself look pretty. And Cersei just, sleeps with everyone. And like Fat Walder's fat and Lisa Arryn is crazy. So there's quite a few other people I don't particularly like. Sansa, the main girl characters we see in most of the series. I wouldn't be any of the cat. I wouldn't want to be a mother, I guess. And that's maybe why I like Brienne. Maybe I wouldn't want to be a mother. Brienne's I like the Brienne character because she's strong. She can really do what she wants. And she's very honorable. And I really like that character. I'd probably choose her in that way. As a person, I feel like if I had to be someone else, that's the type of person I'd want to be, if I could be. So I'm going to go for Brienne. Plus, then I don't have to be sleeping with lots of men. Or my husband, because she's not going to get married probably. She's probably just going to be a knight. And probably be a Kingsguard member or something stupid. But yeah. So yeah, that has been it then for this Q&A. Don't really know what to say. I don't know if you guys learned something. I don't know if this was interesting. It was probably boring as hell. This was it was 2 hours, this Q&A. So yeah, I'm very tired now, and I feel like I'm going to go to bed. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope this is what you wanted. If you think differently, I hope you don't think anything bad about me. Like I said, these are just opinions. I just was open and frank with you guys. They're just opinions. I can change my mind. The good thing about me is I'm a very open person. I like to hear what other people think. Sometimes I only think an opinion because I'm seeing it from my point of view, but I do change my mind. I'm one of those people who can change my mind if given the right information. Sometimes, people are not stupid. They're just not given the right information. People are stupid when they're given the right information and they still cannot see it. Or they have no justification for still being against it. That's when it's dumb. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this and appreciate this. And I'll see you guys around. I hope you'll continue to support the channel. I hope you'll continue to be on my channel for however long this channel lasts. I have no idea where this channel will go. We'll see. But yeah, I've been NGParadox. Ta-da. Ta-da is like, it's not like a magic thing. Like, ta-da! I don't know why I said that. I say I do apologize. My kind of responses made less and less sense as we went along. I'm just really tired now. I just so much talking. But yeah, I'll see you guys again. For reals this time. I'm really going. Are you still here? You did not. I said you could go. That is the end of the video. I mean, I respect you for staying, but it's over. No more questions. I'm not answering any more questions. I'm probably never going to answer any questions ever again because I think I revealed a bit too much today. You're really not leaving, are you? You're really going to stay here after 2 hours of a Q&A. You're going to sit here and listen to me talking to you about staying here. This is like some meta shit right now, isn't it? Okay, you know what? You know what? Don't tell any of the others, but you're my favorite. Don't tell them though. Don't tell the others. Keep it between you and me, okay? Out of all the subscribers, you're my favorite. Okay? That just I'll never say it again, but just between you and me, okay? Just because you stayed this long. I can't believe you stayed this long. If you're still listening to me right now and you still haven't left, I'm absolutely... Now I'm worried. Maybe you might have some health problems. You might have some mental health issues if you're still here, because this has been a long time of me just ranting. I'm not even answering questions. I'm not even talking about anything. I'm just talking about you. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until you leave. You know that, yeah? I can't leave before you leave because this is my video, you know. You're the guest. You should go out first. You should leave first. Bye.